What is up, everybody? So we've got a unique thing going on today. This is actually a recording for the podcast. So it won't be on the podcast for 6 weeks or so. But Lindsey was like, hey, I've got some people that would love to watch it. And I said, what the
Absolutely.
heck? Let's just throw it out there live. And
Love it.
so in a minute, I'm going to actually have to do an intro for the podcast so my editor doesn't kill me. But right now, Lindsey, we're just live all across the socials.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Kyle. I'm so excited to be here. Seriously, since I met you, how many years ago was that? 2 years that you came to Apple?
Three, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Yeah, and I just love following you. You're so real. So that's what I love about it. So thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
And I am kind of bummed now that we talked about it. Like, it makes sense because of our authenticity. You should have been in pajamas today.
I literally was like throwing clothes on because I'm like, working through social media marketing, all my businesses here. And I'm like, shoot, maybe I should put a shirt on like that isn't my, cheetah like drawstring sweatshirt.
Well, we missed it. We'll do another one.
We'll have to do another one. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
We make it a pajama episode.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, I'm so excited to showcase you to my people because you're so unbelievable at what you do. So before we do that, I have to actually stop and then do a real intro for the podcast so that for the actual podcast, it doesn't feel weird. Okay. So guys watching online, this is going to be awkward for a second, but I promise you it's going to be okay. All right. So we're going to give a couple seconds of breathe and then I'm going to jump in. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Social Media Mindset. And I'm excited because I have a friend with me. Lindsey, I only thought you had a couple of businesses.
Yeah.
And then before we hit record, you told me that you have 7.
Yeah.
And you actually even said 7 successful businesses, because I've had a lot of businesses too. And I can't say the word successful at the beginning of some of them. And so you are a realtor, you have a team. You also are an owner in your brokerage. Y'all have over 50 agents. You are a big time person in the health and wellness space through direct sales. You just started your own jewelry line. You have your own property management company. I mean, Holy cow. Did I get them all?
I am surprised you remember. Oh, and I have 7 rental properties, something like that. I don't even know.
So here's why we're here, because this as good as I, because you coach and train your realtors.
Mm-hmm.
Most realtors don't even claim that they have time to do social media for their own business.
Right.
And you're successfully doing it for multiple. So where I want to start with you is, why do you believe this so much more strongly than most people do?
So social media, I literally give all of my success, well, not all of it, but a lot of it, especially the marketing part, to social media. And the reason why I'm so powerful about social media, and I know even where I live in Appleton, it's really hard for people to like grasp social media, especially in smaller areas.
Yeah.
But I've been on social media since I got on Facebook when I was in college at UW Oshkosh. And it was like we were waiting in line for our school to have access.
That's right.
To Facebook.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, because I love to connect with people, and I like to connect with people on every level, whether you are down, you're up, whatever, you're failing, you're successful, your hair's not done, you're, going through something medically healthy, whatever. Right. I love learning about people.
Yep.
Their situation, because I think it's so important. And social media gives us that to do. All social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these things. Otherwise you wouldn't. So, I mean, unless you're out and about, and nowadays, you can't just be out and about everywhere networking. It just isn't like that anymore, especially with things that have happened in the past. So social media is such a great place to go to if you're going there for the right reasons.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So for the agent, or really just any listener that would say, I don't own 7 businesses. I'm not interesting. Like, you're always traveling and you have things going on. Like, how do you help your people overcome that thought process of, I'm super lame nobody really cares what I'm doing.
Right. Well, and people think that, and when people think that and they get those negative thoughts in their head, then that's what other people are going to think, because that's what they say, right? And that's what they talk about. But everybody's interesting in their own way. And I always want to think about social media as if you want to be successful at it, or if you want to be on social media, then you need to really get the right mindset. You need to think, you know what? I want to share what I'm doing today. That is important to me. Maybe I'm going to connect with somebody. So anything and everything that anybody has going on in their life is important to them. And you never know who it's going to be important to. You never know who might be going through the same thing that you're going through.
Right.
And they might be sitting at home thinking, oh, nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about, I'm in pain, or I have this, or I have that, or I can't figure out this problem. Go to social media for your solutions. Right. Join groups, get it out there, put it on your page, send messages, because I'll tell you, through social media, I have been able to, have all these businesses, not because I'm really good at it. No, but because I'm willing to put myself out there and ask for help. Yeah. And find questions. And through social media, if I throw up something, or, and it took time, find the answers was much faster than me trying to learn it on my own.
Yeah.
Why recreate the wheel when it's been created thousands and millions of times? You just got to get out there and ask the right questions and ask for help. And social media gives us that.
Well, and a great example of this in your own life is you just had a pretty significant surgery.
Yes, actually, here you can you see?
And so, yeah, you can kind of see the scar.
Not scare everybody, but yeah, let's see it.
And so because I followed, right? Like you were talking about the pain you'd had for years, and all of the, all of the issues that have come along with it. And then you finally decide to have surgery. For most people, I think they would have said, okay, I'm going to go off social for a few weeks. I'm going to have the surgery. I'm going to recover. I'm going to start therapy. And then I'll be back once I'm back to normal. But you were like, nope, screw that. I'm going to live out every moment of this. So talk about why you chose to do it the way that you did it, and, all that stuff.
And I'm glad that you asked me that, because that did go through my head, right? Because not everybody that's good on social media, they're not good all the time, right? We all have our thoughts. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to take, because, and I tell my teams this all the time, especially my team that's global. I tell them, you have to take every circumstance, anything that's been bad in your life, use it as an opportunity to grow, because that's going to be, people are so important, and seeing the real you, and seeing you in your struggle, and seeing you when you're down, and then seeing how you can come up, because that relates to everybody. Everybody has where they've been down and they need to go up, and they say, oh my God, this girl's on here with no makeup, and her neck's cut open, she's got a neck brace on, and she doesn't give a crap. Why do I give a crap? My elbow hurts. You know what I mean? So the more you can do it, the more it's reality, and the more it's normal for the people that do get so down about those things, that the more they see it, the more they're like, oh, well, this isn't a big deal. Oh, I can keep working. I can still have my normal life, even if I'm going through this crisis. Doesn't mean I need to crawl in a hole.
Sure.
So that's why I did it. I wanted to show, this is me. And I've always been that way in social media. I post a lot. I do a lot of stories. Stories is kind of my thing. I just wanted to share it. And to be honest, after I shared that video, I got so much feedback from people that were scared to have the surgery, that were contemplating it for years. They thought, they didn't know, because what I had done, I had a disc replacement done at my C6, C7. It had completely ruptured from a car accident. And I was dealing with it for 2.5 years, but I didn't know it, because I was just dealing through the pain. Sure. I turned 40 last year here. I thought, I'm just in pain. I'm getting old, whatever. I don't need to go into the neuros. My right arm's going numb. I lost the 3 feelings in my middle finger, but whatever. I turned 40. They told me I'm going to start getting pain, right? So that's what happened. And that's what I was thinking. And then, when I couldn't get off the floor, because I was literally immobile for months, I was like, okay, maybe I should take this more serious, right?
Wow.
But social media to me is, I don't feel like I have to go here. I love to go here, because I can connect with people like you, Kyle. We don't live in the same area.
Right. Yep.
And I learned so much from you, following you and watching, and you're so real. And you motivate me to be like, you know what? I'm going to be more real.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So
So
yeah.
I want to, we those that haven't been in it love to poop on the direct sales industry.
Oh yeah.
And I think I've told you before, my parents were the top salespeople in the same direct sales company for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right, going back to the mid 80s all the way to like 2015-ish. And so I had a front row seat to watching the good that company brought into the world, in the way it served families, the way it allowed stay-at-home moms to be empowered to make extra money if they want to. And so I love watching you participate in this world, because we've always kind of said, like, gosh, can you really sell real estate, but then divide your time and attention and then be a direct salesperson? And so how do you, specifically with the direct sell side of what you do,
Yep.
what are some of the key components that you coach your people with for them to be better on social media?
We really try to focus on being you. A lot of what you talk about, being you, getting out there, doing lives, doing your stories, making sure that you're being consistent, and connecting with people. Send them messages. Hop on in the morning. Wake your social media up in the morning. Say good morning. And just being consistent is really what we try to focus on with them. Because if you're not consistent, then it doesn't keep growing. You can't just like pop on once a week and think that you're going to get all this business or all of these connections. You have to be consistent about connecting.
100%.
Yeah.
So walk me through a day in the life of Lindsey from a social media perspective. Is it regimented? Or is it just, you just kind of know what you're doing and you just happen to do it? How intentional are you with your actions on social every day?
So I'm super intentional, and it does come very natural to me because I've been doing it for, when was I in college? 20 years? Is that how long it's been? Oh my gosh, almost 18 years. I don't even know that. But yeah, when I get up in the morning, of course, we all need to have our miracle morning. You need to take a little time to yourself. Once I've done that, then I immediately will pop into my messages. I'll pop into my messages, follow up with people. Then I will go on to stories, and I'll go through, some stories, comment on, 20 to 30 friends' stories, posts, just to kind of get things. And I always say this: wake your Facebook up, just like you're waking up in the morning. Gotta wake your business up. You gotta like shake it a little bit, right? You gotta get things going. So that's what I always do. And then throughout the day, because I do have meetings, I'm very consistent about a system. I do use a journal. And our whole team, we use a consistent journal, hour by hour. I have my couple hours in the morning where I miracle morning, wake all my things up, get the things going. And then I plug in whether I have meetings or whatever. Then I'll go back and I'll make sure that I follow up. I follow up probably every hour, just because that's who I am on social media. But if I'm really busy, I definitely make sure to do it, halfway through the day. And then at the end of the day, once I'm done with whatever I'm done with. And then I always, at nighttime, of course, typically like to do I like to do a morning, like good morning, inspirational thing. And then at nighttime, I like to wake up and go to bed to inspirational things, because I feel good when I wake up and I feel good when I go to bed. Yeah. So whether it's a book or I'm scrolling on social media, looking through quotes and through people's pages and stories. So I typically will put things in the beginning of my story, in the beginning of the day, and then the end of the day. So that way, when people wake up, they see that too. Because I love to motivate other people, because you never know what you're going to share that's going to be like. I get messages all the time from people who are like, wow, I really needed to see that. Even though it might not relate to me, it relates to them. And that's what fuels me and makes me feel so good as a person.
When you do stories, are you always doing them in the moment, or will you get to the end of the day and go, man, I didn't do very many stories today, and post 6 or 8 stories all at one time right then?
Both. Okay. So it depends on my schedule. It depends. If I'm really busy and I have not been consistent on social media, I'll get to the end of the day, and I always, every day, no matter what, will make sure that I get 4 to 5 stories up. Okay. No matter what, right? Because that's how I am. Now, I try to do it in the moment because I think that that's more real, and I love to be able to rate to that. But sometimes we just don't have. Sometimes we can't quick put it up. Where I'm taking it and I'm in the meeting, I'm like, that might be kind of rude if I put up a story right now in this meeting, and then they see that I'm on social media at the same time. Yeah. Right. But I'm a multitasker. So I'm always doing 5 things at one time anyways, even though they might not see it, that's happening in there.
So because you've trained and worked with realtors for a long time, you've been a realtor for a long time. Yeah. What do you see them currently doing on social that still causes you to cringe a little bit?
The over posting of accepted offers and closings and that kind of stuff. The super, when it's always just a copy paste post, automatic posting that you see all the time because it's the same thing. You know, I do use a lot of those websites. I as well
Sure.
use them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do have some automated stuff, but when that's all that you're seeing, there's no connection, and it drives me crazy because I'm like, I need you to get on here so your clients know who they're working with.
Right.
That's how I am. My clients are like, you're crazy. Like you are. They meet me and they like feed off my energy, and that's how I am with other people. Though that's why I like to work with good clients and good people, and you. And I just love because I have people that are like, I just need to like see you today. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you need? And they're like, nothing. I just need like your energy. And I'm like, oh, okay, stop going for coffee. I'm like, I might be working while I'm doing it, but yeah, come on over.
Yeah.
You know, because it's true. It's a real thing. And social media allows you to be and have that. I don't want to say it's a power, but allows you to be who you want to be and allows you to literally grab energy out of it and take it and be like, oh, thank God. I just watched Kyle's podcast today. Now I have energy and I can get on with my day. So,
Well, I love that you use the word crazy because I hear from a lot of people like because you take a lot of trips because you're
oh,
winning
yeah.
trips with with one of your companies
Yep.
and so again, what do realtors do? They're like, well, like I don't post when I'm on vacation because I don't want my clients to know that I'm not there working, and then
Yes.
I'm not going to post if I'm having a procedure done, and then I'm not going to post. And they
Right.
have this huge list of
All
all
of
the things they're unwilling to talk about.
Yeah.
And then the list of what they're willing to talk about is like, well, I'll post about my listings.
Yeah.
And so I think what I hear you saying is that there is a good crazy that we can showcase on social media where
Yeah.
your people watch you and go, man, Lindsey is she's nonstop. She never stops.
It's crazy.
And that's a good crazy to me.
It is good. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I guess it could be a bad crazy if all your files were falling apart and your closings weren't happening. But when
Right.
you're getting the job done, nobody cares that you're in
100%.
Mexico on a trip.
Yeah. And what's cool is that because I'm super open, I tell my clients like, hey, I'm going to Mexico tomorrow. But this is the thing with me is that yes, I do have vacations where I totally unplug, right? I
Sure.
typically do one of those a year with this fitness group of girls that I go with, and I'll totally unplug. I really won't be on social media very much, but I bring them along with me.
Yeah.
I talk to them while I'm on vacation. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. You know, I'll shoot them and I'll text I text my clients a lot. I even have little emojis or I have a GIF and I have all these funny GIFs of me where I'm like, and I'm like being crazy and I'll like shoot one and they're like, yep, there you are. You're still here. They just want to know that you're still in connection with them and that if something would blow up that you're available. But it's okay to have a normal life and to live because I don't think of this is why I got into real estate 13 years ago. I was a single mom to my daughter. I just moved back from Los Angeles, had nothing other than a little bit of money that I had saved because I used to do some acting and fit modeling out there. Moved back, never was going to have kids ever.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God, I have this baby. Oopsies, but the most amazing blessing in my life because it brought me back to my roots. And I had said, you know what? I need to be smart now. I'm 27 at the time. And I literally took the little bit I had saved and I talked to my mom and dad and I said, okay, I want to buy an investment property. And they're like, but you don't have a job. And I'm like, but I saved all this money. And they're like, so I begged them because I would never ask them for money. I said, if I can get a loan, but you just co-sign, but I pay for everything. I'm like, I want to look for an investment property to pay, you know, their side will pay for me. And then I can kind of figure out what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And so they agreed to co-sign it. That was it. They weren't going to give me any money because I would never do that. That's not who I am. But they were willing to sign some paper. So I did that. And in that process, the agent I purchased the home from, because I was so excited about real estate and I had never done that before. That wasn't what I went to college for. But he was like, you know, if you're looking for a job, you want to be my assistant part-time? And I'm like, yeah. And here I have this baby. And I'm now making like $10 an hour being a part-time assistant. $10 an hour, 13 years ago. $10 an hour. And I was like, all right, I can do this. I was living paycheck to paycheck for 2 years, still trying to get my mindset right, trying to figure it out. I got this baby girl that I got to take care of. And in that time, through learning and through showing on social media, I had became more successful than he was at the time, just
Wow.
because through all of my connections, because I was showed everything from my life, living in LA, having my baby, moving back, all of the goods, the bads, the things, and people just wanted to connect. And to go from making $10 an hour to being a partner in this amazing firm, Acre Realty. I mean, I'm partnered with the godfathers of real estate in Appleton in the Fox Cities.
Wow.
And I'm at the time was a young 30-year-old girl, not young, but
Yeah.
But and here's these two gentlemen, Bob Christie and Jack Whiskey. They literally, are in their 70s, 60s, and 70s, and they're like, "We want to be your partner," not because I was so different. There was nobody else in the Fox City doing social media like I was at the time.
Right.
I think, right. And there was probably, but whatever.
Yeah.
And they knew they're the old school way, right? You're not on social media. You don't tell people you're going on vacation. You absolutely don't do anything that you will get in trouble for, Lindsey, because I had multiple conversations with them about that, but they came to understand why I do it. And they love it now. And now we're all over social media with our business. So I don't even remember where we were going with the initial question, but
it doesn't matter. I love that you told. I love that you told that story, because I never heard that full story before.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
so,
we went through a lot of crazy things in between, right? But you got to do what you got to do. And through social media, that's why I give a lot of my success and just life and positivity that I've gotten through social media, because I follow so many great people on here that if instead of going to a bar, no offense, people like to go to a bar and drink every night, I was like, you know what? I'm going to scroll through some inspirational stuff. I'm going to look for something that motivates me, something that fires me, something that fuels me.
Yeah.
Because if they can do it, I can do it.
Right.
100%. Just because I have no money and I'm broken, I'm living paycheck to paycheck as a single mom because her dad abandoned us, that doesn't mean that I can't still be really successful at something.
Sure. So what I want to go back and follow up on is, you said it took you a couple years to get your mindset right.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you unpack, like, what mindset did you have that was bad, and then what did you replace it with?
So when I had moved back from Los Angeles back to my hometown, right? I mean, you go through all these years of, I graduated high school. I was, honors. I went to college. I have 2 double bachelors. I lived in Chicago, and then I moved to LA. Your life, you feel like your life just keeps elevating and elevating.
Yeah.
And then it came to a point where I had my daughter not planned. I was 3 months. We're going to get real deep. I was 3 months pregnant when I found out already.
Oh, wow.
And I was as skinny as I'd ever been because I was working in Vegas and I did a lot of hosting and stuff like that. And my twin sister at the time literally called me the day before and was like, "We just lost another baby," because they had been trying for 4 years to get pregnant with her husband. And here's my twin sister. All she ever wanted to be was a mom and a mother. And here I am out in LA, and I hate to say it, but I get knocked up, right? Unexpectedly, not planning. Yeah. And so it was kind of like God was giving me a sign like, "Hey, you're having a great time, but we're going to give you a baby."
Yeah.
What do you do with that? So it kind of like, when I moved back, I was deeply depressed. I had massive postpartum. I had to go to the doctor and get medication because I couldn't get out of it. I thought my life was ending, and I loved my baby, but it's when you have that postpartum, you go into such a deep depression that you sometimes can't get out of it for a long time because you don't think your life is where it's supposed to be. You're mad at yourself for being foolish. You're mad at yourself for not being able to provide. You're mad at yourself because you think that your baby should have a better life. And my daughters, and I still struggle with this sometimes, that she doesn't have a father, or a father figure other than my dad. And she's 13 now. So, you go through this negative where you think and then I'm getting this job, and I like the job and I love real estate, but I'm not making enough money to, support myself and my daughter. And we can't travel. We can't do things that I want to do because I love to travel. And it took me almost 2 years to really get out of that, to realize, you know what, you're good at this, Lindsey, and you are a good mom. Look at, you figured it out. It took me a while, right?
Yeah.
I had to start making enough to figure out to, be able to get a little bit of help to watch my daughter. So, but it wasn't like it could happen in one day. It needed to happen in sessions. Okay, now I'm going to shoot for my next goal is I'm going to try to get a raise for $2.
Come on.
okay, I just want to work enough hours and make enough to be able for her to go to daycare part-time, so that I can get more and more time, just so that I can try to keep growing. I mean, I would have nights where, and to anybody out there that's trying to grow a new business, guess what? Sometimes you don't get to sleep at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes when you're up and you're trying to build and grow, you're not to that mindset or that place where now I am, where I get to sleep and I get to have a miracle morning and I get to have my coffee and I get to do whatever I want to do. But when you're starting a business, you got to do all the things, even though it's
Right.
still like a mess.
Well, and so I think that equally plays over to maybe not starting a business. You already have a business, but you suck at social media. So you're starting social media.
Yeah.
And you have to trust the process.
You have to trust the process.
Like people, I think we live in such a fast-paced world where if Starbucks takes a minute to get me through the drive-through, I'm like, what are they doing in there? Right. Why is this taking
That's why I don't even go there
so long? Right. And so, I mean, if my computer doesn't start up in 3 seconds, right? I'm like, Apple, come on, man. I don't have 3 seconds. And so we want everything the moment we want it. And so then when somebody like you comes on and says, guys, just trust the process, post more often, be yourself, be authentic. That doesn't mean that tomorrow it's all going to wake up for you. No. It could take a year, right? It could take 2 years, but it's worth it.
Right. 100%. Because through social media, I mean, and this is a lot of why I started direct sales too, is because when I had joined direct sales 4 years ago, I didn't need the money, right? I didn't need it. I was already successful in my business, very successful. But I loved that it was another way for me to connect through social media with more people. Yeah. And Entail would grow both of my businesses, not just the network marketing, the real estate. So now when people are like, oh, well, you do 2 businesses and this, I said, you bet your bottom I do, because guess what? Guess how many houses I sell to people that buy tanner and firming cream and Lumi spas and whitening toothpaste from me? Lots. Because when I post about one of my products on social media, this is funny, I'll say about, say, like firming cream. Do you know how many women want firming cream? They want firmer butts.
I can only imagine.
Lots. But when I post who wants to buy this house, that's very little of my social media that at the time. Can't.
I might like to try some firming cream on my butt.
Right. I got all the goods, Kyle, all the goods. And we're coming out with some crazy stuff soon. So I'll tell you about that secret to the week. But
you know what I think you do better than anyone I know is you don't allow what people think to keep you from doing it.
Thank you.
Right. So when all these realtors are told you can't get in direct sales, you're in real estate. If you try to do both, they'll both fail. Most people go, okay, you're probably right. Where you're like, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I don't accept that for myself. Watch what I'm going to go do. And I think that's what's allowed you to be who you are.
Well, thank you. I have a hard time saying thank you, but thank you.
So give us one final tip, right? As we kind of wrap this up. What would be, because you're positively Lindsey Kate on Instagram, right? Guys, go follow her. She's always putting the vibe. Well, we'll have it linked in the show notes when we actually put out the podcast and all that good stuff. But you truly are a person that just exudes positivity and just that good energy. And so, what would be that final piece of advice that you would give to somebody that maybe isn't in that postpartum depression that babies send moms into, but they're just struggling to get over that hump?
Yeah. So I would suggest, of course, stay positive, but reach out, talk to people.
Yeah.
Whether it's on social media or not on social media, get a book, scroll on the internet, do something good for you. Get up in the morning, go walk outside, even if it's before you have coffee, whatever it is, do something for yourself, even if it's one thing that makes you feel good. If it's, I showered today.
Woo!
Woo! Or I washed my hands. I don't know. Whatever it is, little step by little step, do something for yourself. I know
Yeah.
it's hard to tell people that. And I know a lot of people get in this, I'm trying to get the kids ready. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do, but it's like, just take a break for 1 second and just breathe and just do one thing for yourself.
I'm going to introduce you. I want to introduce you to a buddy of mine. His name's Phil Treadwell. He's one of my best friends. He's in the mortgage world, but
Yeah.
he's moving more into the coaching world. And so he has a company called M1 Academy, and it's Mindset First is what M1 stands for. I'm going to connect you guys. But
Yeah.
the reason I brought this up is he coaches about how our brain doesn't know the difference between, like, you just hit your goal of $1 million today, or you set a goal to wash your hair before 10 a.m. and you actually washed your hair before 10 a.m. Like the endorphins, the chemicals that fire, they don't know how to balance a bigger success with a small one. And so what you just said, right, is just find those small wins.
Yes.
Because if you can stack enough of those small ones together, it starts to change things.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it perfect. That's exactly it. It's people always try, they're like, oh, I want to be successful like you. And then they want to go there first. It's like, no, you need to start here.
Yeah.
And you need to work your way up. But keep in mind, you might fall back here.
Yep.
Like stairs, because trust me, I've had this. It was not straight up. There was a lot of things that happened in between there,
Sure.
Lots of things, divorce, sickness, the bad thing that happened for all of us around the world a couple years ago. So, I mean,
I heard about
all
that.
of these things. So just small goals, small steps.
Lindsey, I already told people your Instagram is positively Lindsey Kate.
Yes.
We'll have that in the show notes. Is there anywhere else that you want people to go follow you?
Yeah. So I did actually just start it's not out yet, but it's Lindsey Kate Collection. So it'll be at Lindsey Kate Collection.
Okay.
And it's been like my passion project. When I was laying on the floor in November, immobile, right, with the pain, and couldn't get up and show houses, and I, to be honest, couldn't even really be on my phone. I had called my girlfriend, who's made my jewelry for me for over 20 years, and said, "This might be a stupid, crazy idea, but I can't do anything else right now, and I think I want to start that jewelry line we've always joked about." And she's like, "Let's do it," and it's going to be coming out in a couple weeks. And I was like, all right, even though I'm laying on the floor and I can't show houses and I can't hold my phone because my right arm doesn't work, I can still do something, right?
Oh my gosh.
So
I love it.
Follow me at Positively Lindsey Kate, at Lindsey Kate Collection. And then of course I am on Facebook in here. So
I love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been long past due.
Yeah.
I'm glad we streamed it today. I know for a fact there's people that are watching that, if for no other reason, they just needed a shot of you in their life to just feel encouraged.
Excited.
And so thank you for being you. And I can't wait to get this out to people.
Thanks. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to watch it because I just love watching you. So, all right.
Thank you.
You're
welcome. Guys,
we
appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back real soon with another cool person with an even cooler story. See ya.